Yet again, over 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception that was in the red zone of the Raiders, and it would have been bad, but Chris Jones and company said, don't worry, and the Raiders can't really do anything. Here's Mahomes postgame.
I thought we did a great job. You know, obviously the backed up situations we got to be better at in the interception. But other than that, I thought we moved the ball well. We ran it. We threw it. We got D-Hop involved a little bit. I mean, you see he's going to have a chance to have a big role in this offense. We're going to keep expanding it as the year goes on.
Yeah, what did you see from him today in this offense? What did you like?
I liked a lot. I mean, obviously he got a few big catches, but even some that I didn't throw to him, I went back and looked on the tablet, and he was open. And you get that guy man-to-man, you got to give him chances to make plays.
Impressed?
Oh, it's very, very hard for Patrick. He set such a high standard to impress me, particularly in October. It's not really impressive October games so much. But I'm very surprised how few people recognize the level of quarterbacking he's graduated to. That he can, I mean, Coach, you can wince and you can squint and you can secretly be so nervous that he is going to wreck all of the Patriots' records.
I can't sleep
But that he knows at this point, especially with this team, with these injuries at the receiver position, that they need to figure out what they can and can't do. And he's going to use the first few quarters of every game to work on that. And then in the fourth quarter, he will snap, be the best quarterback in football again. Because again, this year, in the fourth quarter, he has snapped, been vintage Patrick Mahomes. Maybe not the total touchdowns numbers, but that also is maybe a function of the fact that they've been running the ball so effectively. And this is a Chiefs team that never trails in the fourth quarter, that leads through the fourth quarter in every game except for, I guess, 2 games they haven't led for the entire fourth quarter. And total time trailing this season, Coach, in the fourth quarter is less than 10 minutes, which is the best in the league by far. So go ahead, Coach.
So you think like this week he was like, I got to figure out if I throw a pick and it gets down to the 3-yard line, will my defense be able to hold? That's what he was worried. That's what they were workshopping that in the quarterback room. It's like, hey, if I throw a really terrible interception this week,
hold on, did you think that was a really terrible interception? That's how you would have graded if you were in the film room? He would get the grade, or Wanya Morris
well,
would get
I'm just saying.
no, you called it that. I'm just asking.
But let me put it in context. This is 5 games. Now, finally, we got over the 90 quarterback rating. But 5 games in a row, he's sub 90, which is a career worst for him. Last game, he has his career worst quarterback rating. So to sit here and say that he's redefining the quarterback position when he's performing at the worst level he's performed in his career.
See, so I don't agree with you.
But he does have the best team that he's had collectively. The other parts are obviously. We'll put an asterisk with the wide receivers. But for him to be performing at this level, the best thing for Kansas City is that he's playing at this level and they're winning. That's the thing they should be excited about. Let me ask you a different question. They should not be excited about the way he's playing.
Are you confident that if you dropped any other quarterback on this Chiefs team, they'd be 7-0? Because I'm not. I know they are with him.
No.
Right. I know exactly. I'm asking you, are you confident that if any other quarterback was dropped on this team with this defense, this coaching, they'd be 7-0? I'm not saying no one could. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think it would be happening. And the fact that his numbers are excellent when the games really matter at the end, and that the Chiefs have controlled all of these games, means, in my humble opinion, our micro dissection of how well is Patrick Mahomes playing really is a little overwrought. And yes, and last week's absolute race to elevate Lamar ahead of him was a little premature. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Going into this game, he had 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
I understand. I get that.
If this was any other quarterback besides your hometown Chiefs, you would be killing him.
Coach, I'm telling you right now, there is no player in sports that is the 2-time defending MVP of the Super Bowl or of their championship round that was on the last undefeated team that I would ever be killing. And I would flip it on you, which is, if this were any other team other than the Chiefs, you'd be here saying, you know what? That's what great quarterbacking is understanding it's not about your stats, it's not about your numbers, it's not about the light show. It's about putting your team in position and making plays where it counts. And so I actually think it's the opposite. I think that people are so sick of the Chiefs' excellence that they are being ridiculous in trying to spend more time talking about what's wrong with the team that hasn't lost since last Christmas and what's wrong with a quarterback that everyone knows you would take over every other quarterback in the league.
Everybody acknowledges Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. No question about it.
Okay.
I think everybody acknowledges that.
I mean, last week it was Lamar on everyone's list.
But no one really thinks
right,
that.
exactly.
No one really.
Nobody, if you're doing a draft, nobody's going to take Lamar over.
Right, over Mahomes.
Baltimore might, but nobody else is going to take Lamar over.
But Nick, you're overstating this and acting like Mahomes has some secret plan, like he's not even trying to play that well. Like he wants to, what's he got now? 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions? Like he wants that. He said last year wasn't fun because he wasn't able to shine offensively like he usually does. It's not us, everybody being tired of Mahomes being so great that we want to pick, nitpick what he's doing. He's not playing well. It's judging him by the standard he set, which is incredibly high. But like I've said, it's if LeBron James in his prime was all of a sudden averaging points and 4 assists, even if they're winning, we'd be saying, what is wrong with LeBron? And his shooting percentage was 38%. Like, that's the equivalent of what Mahomes is doing. Now, you're right. In the fourth quarter, he is clutch. He is making the big plays. And I agree. I don't think you put any other quarterback there, they're winning like this because of his intangibles as well. But to sit here and act like this is by design, like Mahomes is doing this on purpose
So that's,
that's kind of what you're saying.
No. If it sounded like that, then I'll be clear. I think he knows definitively, all right, this works, this works, this works. I am going to try to figure out the other things that also work. And that leads to more mistakes. That leads to less explosive plays because I think they are trying to build out a box of more things that are gotta have it plays, things that work. And I think they have the benefit of that because of the great defense and because of what they can go to late in games. I don't think he's trying to throw interceptions. I think he is taking more chances, like on a third down, being comfortable dropping, or I don't even know it was third down, is holding on to the ball for longer than probably you would in a must-have-it spot in your own end zone. Can we hold up? Can you get across the field, Xavier Worthy? Working on these things, and it leads to more mistakes. So, no, I don't think he's trying to make mistakes. I think he is experimenting more than most quarterbacks would have the benefit of being able to do.
Can I pitch you on this? Because I asked Josh, we're trying to figure out statistically, how is Mahomes so good when we watch the games? Like, this is, I sense I have total confidence in the Chiefs and Mahomes, but a lot of the numbers don't work. And this is what Josh came up with: the highest in third and fourth down percentage in the last 20 years. The Chiefs are right up there for the 20 years that they're getting. What are they getting? 53% success rate. So I'm like, oh, when they need, this was us trying to be like, when they need it, he's at his best. And that, I think, is like, oh, the game's in the balance. Like, not really. I'm going to make this work. So that's the closest thing I could get to figuring out why.
And I don't necessarily see this as him trying to figure out what works from an experimental standpoint, as much as it feels like he's pressing because he doesn't feel like he's performing the way that he should. He doesn't feel like he has the options that he normally has outside with the wide receiver group, and he wants to be. He doesn't want to be the reason that all these games are so close late. He wants to be part of the solution.
But by the way, they're not close late. That's the other thing, and that's what's frustrating.
One score game.
Hold on. The Saints game, they're up 2 scores. I was at the Royals playoff game, but I was watching on my phone. They dominated the second half of that game. The Niners game, am I not mistaken that they were up 16 points or 15 points, and then the Niners got a late touchdown like the Raiders did? The Raiders game, they're up 14 points. The Raiders get a late touchdown.
Baltimore, Cincinnati,
yes.
Atlanta.
Yeah, those first 3. So the last, correct, and the Charger game as well.
Yep.
Those first 4. The last 3 have not been that. I also don't think that I don't think the interception he threw in this game was some terrible, grievous error on his behalf.
But it's an interception. Every quarterback, when Purdy throws an interception that gets tipped, you blame him. So we got to blame Mahomes.
I am not.
I mean, a lot of quarterbacks get tipped interceptions.
I understand that, but to me that does not follow the logic of he's pressing. Coach said he's pressing because, but that to me is not a play that's because a guy's
Nick,
pressing.
Just based off of normal human emotion, if you are 4 games into